good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I wanted to chime in a little bit today to have a conversation with you to put into context something that I just read that came from Mr. Steve Harvey. Now, Steve is he's a pretty successful guy. He's got a lot of money. He's he's a rich guy. He's very well known. And he said some things that caused some controversy. So, given that we have the home for intelligent black people, I thought that I would have an intelligent conversation with you about this to break this down. What's up, Trilly the Great? That is such a great name. I love that name. So just always remember to keep it trill. All right, so let me see what we got here. We got Rafiki and Andrew and Steve and from Gilroy, California. Yeah, shout out your city. If you haven't done that yet, please shout out your city, your business, or your dream. Your city, your business, or your dream. Shalonda says, this is old, though. It ain't old because I ain't talked about it. It ain't old till I talk about it. Shalonda, you know that. Everett, what's going on? Let's see. DJ Darkside, beat up the like button. Yes, please hit that like button, share button, and subscribe button. If you have not done that, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And I'm going to break this down for you in a way that I hope will give some context to what Steve said. And what I'll do is I'll start off by telling you exactly what Steve said so that we don't, misquote the brother or anything like that. It's an interesting statement that he made. He was basically, I think, trying to motivate the audience. And you got to give him credit for that, right? You got to give him credit for at least being a person who cares enough for whoever's listening to try to teach them the game. A lot of rich people get rich. They don't want nobody else to know how to be rich with them. And, and so people just sit back and honor and admire what they've accomplished, but they don't have the keys to actually building the life that they want for themselves. And so, for that, in that regard, I'm going to just say, that I do give Steve credit for that. Now, I think that Steve deserves legitimate, very legitimate criticism for the fact that some people have felt over time, myself included, that maybe he went a little bit too far, that he, seemed to kind of be willing to sell his soul in order to get money. And I don't know if everybody's on board with that. I'm not a big fan of black capitalism. I'm a big fan of black free commerce and black free enterprise and black business development and black wealth and things like that. But I'm not a fan of black capitalism, because to me capitalism says that you're going to start acting just like white people do, and I don't think that the white models of making money and doing business are necessarily the most healthy. In fact, if you notice, the white man got all his power in America by robbing and raping and stealing from everybody, and I don't think that that's what we want to be. That's not who we are. So there are a couple things that do not fit into the nature of black people. One is robbing and raping and stealing your way to success, and then two is going to weird ass events like the Met Gala. Just for the record, I'm going to say that as a black man, I thought that it was ridiculous and embarrassing that you had all these Negroes running up to the Met Gala, dressing like clowns and coons and pimps and Tiffany Haddish bringing fried chicken to the damn event. What's wrong with you, girls? Fried chicken, really? Dressed like a pimp, giving out fried chicken to white people. You deserve a medal for that. Like, that's like coonery on a really extensive level. Like, that's like scientific coonery. Like, that's like unbelievable cosmic coonery. Like out of this fucking world type coonery. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's get started. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit that thumbs up button. Very important. Please hit the thumbs up button. All right. So let's see. Cashmere Black says Steve Harvey wasn't being serious. Well, he sounded serious. I watched the words come out of his mouth. And as the words came out, he sounded very serious to me. He sounded like a guy that really has something to say. And it sounded like he was really giving people advice. If he wasn't serious, he should have said later on, I was just playing. Everybody should get 8 hours of sleep. I was just joking. He didn't say all that. Steve Harvey said this. Here's what he said. Let me read this to you. He said, rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. Okay. That's a third of your life. It ain't but 24 hours in a day. You cannot sleep 8 hours a day. You can't live in LA and wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The stock market has been open for 2 hours. They already making decisions about your life, and your ass was asleep. That don't sound like he was joking. Again, he didn't say it like, in all seriousness, folks. He didn't say that. He really sounded serious. He sounded like he was, like he was really trying to say something, And again, I'm not, I've been harder on Steve Harvey in the past, and I still am not a big fan. I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, I've tried to understand and empathize in terms of what can you learn from a Steve Harvey, right? That's what I think. That's where I'm kind of going with my analysis on things. Is like, black people, we spend a lot of energy being mad at each other, and I'm not really just interested in spending a whole lot of my energy being mad at another black person. So I'm not going to spend time being mad at Steve Harvey. I'm going to jump out and say this. First and foremost, just point blank period. I don't think there's any evidence to say that not getting enough sleep is going to increase your likelihood of success. I just don't believe that. Now, mind you, this is important though to understand. None of us in this room, I don't think, is as rich as Steve Harvey. So it is a possibility he knows something the rest of us don't know. But if you talk to other billionaires and people with hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, most of them don't say things like you shouldn't get sleep. They'll say things like you should invest in yourself, you should start businesses, things like that. But they won't say like, oh yeah, and by the way, you should only get 4 hours of sleep. And what I will say also is, while I'm not as rich as Steve Harvey, I do know what it's like to make money. I can technically say that I know what it's like to make more than $1 million in a year. I can say that I know that feeling. So technically, I would be a rich person. But so to that extent, I will say that I've always felt sleep was extremely important, because studies show that when you don't have enough sleep, you don't perform your best. You're not at your best. I go back to college. I remember when I was in college. And in undergrad, I was the number one undergrad student in finance, and I was the number one black student on campus for 4 years straight, as far as GPA and all that. I was freshman of the year, outstanding graduating senior. I got all the awards. Every award I applied for, I got it. I mean, it wasn't no award I didn't. I don't remember not getting anything that I wanted as far as awards. And one thing that I remember was that the reason I did well in school was not because I was necessarily that much smarter than everybody else. Maybe I'm smarter now because I've just consumed so much information. But at that time, at 18 years old, I was just like the other 18-year-olds. I had never made good grades in high school. I kid you not. My grades in high school were garbage. Absolutely terrible. So this gives you hope for your children. If your kids ain't doing well in school, they just haven't been put in the right context, in the right situation. They haven't been given the right motivation. But they may have something in there that you don't know about, because nobody saw this coming. Even I didn't, because I'd been told my whole life by white people that I wasn't smart enough. But here's what happened. It was almost like discovering a wormhole that allows you to travel further and faster than other people with less energy. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I realized is that a lot of the people that were in class with me, they thought that in order to do well in school, you had to be really uncomfortable. They believed that in order to make good grades, you had to pull all-nighters. Anybody remember that? Yes or no? Anybody remember that in college or in school in general? You know what I'm talking about? The image of the student making straight A's who stays up all night before the test and doesn't get enough sleep. Anybody else seen that before? Yeah. I know I saw that a lot. And I remember thinking, I don't want to live like that. Like, I don't like not having enough sleep. I mean, when I don't get enough sleep, I don't know if anybody else's body does this. Tell me if you have the same issue. When I don't get enough sleep, I do not feel good about anything. I hate the world. I hate you. I hate myself. I feel bad. My nose is cold. My knees are cold. It's real weird. Like, my knees will get cold. My nose will get cold. My elbows will get cold. My fingers will get cold. I'll be like, what the hell? You try to use the bathroom. It ain't, even that ain't working right. I'm not going to get too graphic with you, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, damn, when I ain't had enough sleep, nothing is on balance. I'm not sharp. Like, you ask me a simple question, like, Boyce, what day is it? I don't know. Why you ask me that question? Like, right, really. So when I don't have enough sleep, I don't perform. I can't perform. So what I learned is that, and this is what I figured out in college, rather than not getting enough sleep and performing badly for longer periods of time, go ahead and get your sleep in and then get up and perform at your best. So I've discovered this thing called power naps. Power naps were the shit. Power naps were like, okay, I'm going to get my 7 hours of sleep at night so I'm fresh. And then during the day, after I've worked 4 or 5 hours, I'm going to get tired. When I get tired, I'm going to let myself sleep. And then I'll sleep 45 minutes, maybe an hour, get up, boom, I'm operating at maximum efficiency. The other thing I discovered was this thing called time management. Time management. Time management was literally the holy grail that I discovered that led to success all throughout my life. I kid you not. When I learned to master time and I learned to spot all the ways that other people waste so much of their time, I was like, able to do 10 times more with what seemed like 1/3 of the effort. I'd have friends that were grinding like crazy. Oh my God, I ain't got no sleep. I can't. Blah, blah, blah. And I'd just be sitting there chilling. And the difference with me chilling and getting more done than the people who were going bananas is that when I wanted to sleep, I slept. But when I woke up, I did not bullshit. No, you're not. I would not be sitting in the office having stupid conversations over stupid stuff. I did not let people waste my time. I did not. I would spot friends from a mile away who were time wasters, who weren't serious about getting shit done. So I did not, when they called me, I did not answer the phone. To this day, I don't answer my phone. I don't know if I told you that. I don't answer my phone. I check it and I see who called. Okay, and then I see who I can delegate. Okay, my manager can call this person. My assistant can call that person. I ain't got to call that person back. And then the other person, I'll be like, I'm going to text him. And then there might be one person I might call back and I'll be like, hey mama. And that's what I realized. Those were the important calls I had to take. My mama, my kids, really, really important business partners and people I work with, people that are helping me succeed and figure out ways to get money and be successful. I ain't got time. I ain't got a lot of time for people that do a lot of talking and don't actually do any doing. You know what I'm talking about? Does anybody know I hope you know what I'm talking about. Make sure you know the difference between the people that just like to yap and waste your time and, oh, I got this idea and that idea and all that, versus people that will say, okay, I'm going to get this done, or let's do this next Tuesday, and then they get it done on Tuesday. Okay, let's get this done Friday, they get it done on Friday. Those are the people that you want to put 90% of your energy into, because those are the people that are going to help propel you to success. People that are about their business, that are serious, that are going to get it done. And unfortunately, that's like 10% of all people. Only 10% of all people are real serious and really stick to whatever the hell they're going to say. Everybody else talks, and then they get distracted. Oh, I had to do this with the kids. Or I had to do this because blah, blah, blah. Or I forgot. Or I had this happen. My grandma went to the hospital, so I had to be in the hospital for 3 days with grandma. Even though grandma didn't need you in the hospital, you just felt like you had to shut it all down because grandma got sick. That's another little clue. Another little hint. Just me being real with you. 100% real. I'm being honest about success. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your life. I'm just being honest about success. I know too many black folks who shut it all down just because Big Mama got sick, Cousin Willie got sick, so-and-so got sick, and it's cool. Like, tend to those people, be there, but that does not give you an excuse to shut down everything that you were going to do for the next 3 days and not get anything done. Because when they get better and they're out of the hospital, like you're still going to be falling behind on all the stuff that you said that you were going to do. You won't get anything done because there's always going to be somebody who's sick. There's always going to be something going on that's going to be a potential distraction. You must decide, am I going to allow this to be a full, complete distraction and a complete excuse for me to get nothing done? Or is this going to be something that I have to handle in the midst of still moving on with my shit? Never let nothing throw you off of getting your shit done. Seriously. I mean, maybe death, like, okay, my child was murdered this week. Okay, that's you have a pass. You get a hall pass. God forbid if that ever happens to anybody, you get a pass. But if it's like, my 75, 80-year-old, grandparent is sick again, so that's why I didn't get the thing done that I was supposed to do by Wednesday, and that's why I still haven't got done all the things I said I'd do last month. Honestly, what's going to happen is if you're working with somebody who's serious, they're going to be polite. They're going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. How's your grandma? Is your grandma okay? And then they're going to not want to work with you because they're going to be like, okay, I feel bad for her grandma, but I need somebody that's really going to actually get things done. So this goes back to Steve Harvey's thing about sleep. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. And also I want to welcome everybody. We're on Dr. Boyce TV, the home for intelligent black people. So if you're not black and intelligent, you might want to leave because I'm just going to say some stuff that's probably going to offend you anyway. Also, I want to remind everybody, I'm doing a seminar, a 7-week seminar on investing that starts next week. So if you want to take a look, go to drboyceseminars.com. That's drboyceseminars.com. So here's the deal. If you look it up, right, Steve Harvey says that rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. I don't think that's true. I believe that if you're efficient with your time, you can get a full night of sleep and still accomplish quite a bit. You just have to be efficient with what you do with the time while you're awake. So, if you want to know my philosophy on sleep, I believe sleep is very important. Sleep is important for your health. In fact, I looked up on medicalnewstoday.com facts about sleep deprivation. Sleep loss can alter your normal functioning or attention and disrupts the ability to focus on environmental sensory output. A lack of sleep has been implicated as playing a significant role in tragic accidents involving airplanes, ships, trains, automobiles, and nuclear power plants. Children and young adults are most vulnerable to the negative effects of sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation can be a symptom of an undiagnosed sleep disorder or other medical problems. When you fail to get your required amount of sufficient sleep, you start to accumulate sleep debt. And sleep debt, ultimately, the effects of sleep debt can lead to, or signs of sleep deprivation are yawning, moodiness, fatigue, irritability, depression, difficulty learning new outcomes. A lack of sleep is directly linked to depression. Black people have a huge problem with depression. Go read Terry Williams' book, Black Pain, and she talks about how so many black women especially are just wandering around like the walking dead, very, very depressed. Forgetfulness, inability to concentrate or a fuzzy head, a lack of motivation, clumsiness, increased appetite and carb cravings, which is not good for your health, and reduced sex drive. The effects, sleep deprivation can negatively affect a range of systems in your body. If it can have the following impact. Not getting enough sleep prevents the body from strengthening the immune system and producing more cytokines to fight infection. So you can get infection, you can take longer to recover from illness. Sleep deprivation can result in increased risk of new and advanced respiratory diseases. A lack of sleep can affect body weight. Two hormones in the body, leptin and ghrelin, control feelings of hunger and satiety or fullness, fullness. The levels of these hormones are affected by sleep. Sleep deprivation also causes the release of insulin, which leads to an increased fat storage and a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. Now, if anybody has to worry about diabetes, it will probably be black people, because they're setting up diabetic clinics in your neighborhood right now because they're going to get paid off of the fact that you might be taking Steve Harvey advice and not getting enough sleep and stopping at McDonald's on your way home every day. All right, so sleep helps the heart vessels to heal and rebuild, as well as affecting processes that maintain blood pressure and sugar levels, as well as inflammation control. Not sleeping enough increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, another disease that affects black people on quite a regular basis. Insufficient sleep can affect hormone production, including growth hormones and testosterone in men. So if you're a man, you're less of a man when you ain't got no sleep, because your testosterone starts dropping, and you, next thing you know, you're trying to get with your woman, and you know what becomes a thumbs up turns into a thumbs down and you become droopy. Let's see. Sleep deprivation occurs when someone does not get a healthy amount of sleep. The Sleep Foundation recommends these sleep durations, depending on what age you are. Newborns, wow, they recommend 14 hours of sleep for a newborn. That's so crazy. For adults, they recommend 7 to 9 hours. For older people, 7 to 8 hours. Those are the sort of scientific facts on sleep deprivation. So what I just wanted to do was kind of give you some context on it, so that we're not sort of letting Dr. Steve Harvey become our medical physician and have everybody sick trying to imitate, a guy who got rich because he's hosting Family Feud. If I was to look at the things that make Steve Harvey great, and I read more of his speech in terms of what he was really trying to say, what he's really trying to say is go the extra mile. And on that regard, me and Steve Harvey are in lock motherfucking step. If you want your shit, go the extra mile. Go the extra mile. Go hard. Go hard to paint. I dropped the 8-year-old off, the 8-year-old in my house. I dropped her off today for dance class. I said, you are special. You are so great. You are going to be one of the greatest dancers, singers, performers in the world. But you got to work hard. You got to work harder than everybody else. That's what's going to make your greatness come out. Right. And that's what I believe to the nth degree. And I think that's what Steve was saying, because if you look at Steve's story, Steve, oddly enough, sadly enough, because of his politics, has been sort of thrown into this category where black people don't listen to him anymore. They either listen too much or not enough. And I think everybody should sort of be in the middle, like see him for his flaws, but look at the man. I mean, the man is not an average man. The man used to be homeless. Give the man credit for the fact that he rose from homelessness to whatever he's doing right now. And also give him credit for the fact that, again, he's like a Bill Cosby type. And remember when Bill Cosby used to do it, Bill Cosby used to make a lot of people mad because he said stuff that people didn't want to hear. But Bill Cosby at least cared enough to come back and give you bad advice, right? At least he cared enough. A lot of our celebrities don't even care enough to come give you the bad advice or the good advice. At least, if Bill Cosby cared enough to come back and annoy you with things that you did not want to hear, because he cared. He wanted black people to do better. He had his own context and definition of what that meant, and we didn't necessarily like it, but I give him credit for caring enough. So I give Steve credit for even taking the time to give people advice on how to be more successful, because he could just sit there and just be a rich guy and say, well, if you want to figure it out, you figure out the game on your own. But really, Steve is in the same tradition as a Nipsey Hussle. Like Nipsey said in that song, I love this. It's last that I checked, where he says that I doubled up, reinvested, and explained to you. I'm not gonna say the N word, but that's what he said. Like I doubled up, reinvested, and then I explained to you what I did. I explained the game to you, and you gotta have at least a little bit of love in your heart, I believe, for the black people that at least care enough to try to give you the game, even if they might be a Republican, or even if they might be a little obnoxious, or even if they might say the wrong thing every now and then. At least Steve is trying to give you the game, and I think the game is, for him, one simple part of the game is the man knows business, the man works hard, the man goes above and beyond, the man climbed back from homelessness. I think there's something to learn from that. And then at that point, the rest, you just throw it all away, But that part about not sleeping, I think that's not healthy advice. I think that was Steve's strategy. And if you look at Steve does not come off as a man who's that happy. If you recall that memo that got released, that leaked memo where he sent to his whole team, basically saying, like, do not talk to me, do not bother me, do not make eye contact with me. I mean, it sounded like a real asshole would write that. And what I really saw in that was irritability. I saw a person that was probably sleep deprived and pissed off because everybody, when you get to that level, everybody wants something from you. And I understand it a little bit, not as much as Steve. As I told you, I ain't never had as much money as Steve Harvey's had, but I've had enough money and enough power that I've had people call me, and 90% of the people that call me, they want something from me. And when you get to that level, it's very, very irritating. It drives you crazy and makes you want to cuss half the world out. But at the same time, I think the ability to deal with that more is you're better able to deal with that when you've had enough sleep than when you haven't had enough sleep and you've overworked yourself. So maybe Steve saying that or giving you his formula for success means that you have to take that with a grain of salt, because that might be part of Steve's game, part of Steve's approach that isn't the healthiest. It's just like going to college. When I went to college, I had other straight A students tell me that to do well in college, you can't go to no parties, you can't have any fun, you can't get any sleep. And I found that's not true. I went to any party I wanted to go to. I got 8 hours of sleep every night, including the night before the test. I just found a way to be efficient with my time. So one little thing I did, for example, is I planned ahead. If I had a test in 3 weeks, I did not wait until 2 days before the test to start studying. I started studying 3 weeks in advance. And if you study 3 weeks, if you take this much information and you do it in 2 days, it's like this much information. But if you stretch it out, it's very easy. It's like, okay, instead of reading 8 chapters in 2 days, I can read 8 chapters over 30 days, which means I'm not even even if I do a chapter every 2 days, I'm still 10 years ahead of the pack. So plan ahead. Those who plan ahead get ahead. They're straight up, point blank period. Those who plan ahead get ahead. Those who don't plan, those who wait to plan, get their ass kicked every goddamn time. Excuse my French. So black people, we get our butts kicked because most of us don't spend nearly as much time planning as we spend reacting. Yes or no? Let's pause on that thought for a moment. I want you to process that. And I want you to tell me yes or no if you notice that black people love to react. We love to react. We'll see a video online. Oh, no, they didn't. We'll hear about something that somebody said. Oh, no, they didn't. We love to, oh, no, that's racist. You said white people, y'all, we love to react. That's all we do is we sit back and we let the world happen to us. We're like, okay, so what's going to happen next? And then something happens, we're like, oh, no, you didn't. No. Right? Well, maybe while you're sitting there waiting for the world to happen to you, you can make a plan. But that's the problem. Somebody steps up and says, we keep getting shot by the cops. And it just sucks every time it happens, because we always go crazy and lose our damn mind. Maybe we should make a plan to minimize the number of police shootings in the future. Maybe we should, raise $100 million and file some lawsuits, or form an organization that can stop this. Or maybe we should organize and put together a business that will allow us to have enough wealth so that we're not living paycheck to paycheck and going crazy because Trump shut the government down, or whatever it is, right? But when people want to make plans, don't nobody want to show up. I'm gonna tell you like this, just even on YouTube, check it out. If I do a video where I'm giving a reaction to something someone did, then the numbers are like through the roof. Thousands of people watch that video. But if I do a video titled, "Here's a plan for black people. Here's a plan for our future," you're going to get like that 5% of people that actually understand what I'm saying. So ultimately, that's one of the keys to success. Make a plan, execute that plan on a daily basis, be very, very consistent, get plenty of sleep so you can be fresh and sharp when you do it. And you gotta love what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, then you lose. I don't care if you have all the money in the world. I don't care if you have all the success in the world. I don't care if you hosting Family Feud every year for the next 50 years. If you're not happy, you lost the game. So you gotta be internally satisfied with your life. With your life. I mean, that's so important because I know so many people who have all the money in the world who ain't happy. Their lives are all over the damn place. I mean, think about this. Do you think when R. Kelly decided to become a singer, do you think that do you think that he thought that his life would be as miserable as it is right now? He achieved all of his dreams that he ever had. Every dream he had as a singer. There ain't more that R. Kelly could do than what he did as a musician. But look at his life now. I mean, this man just got hit with $62,000 in child support he had to pay just to stay out of jail, so that he could stay out of jail long enough to deal with his other counts of child pornography and whatever else they charging him with, right? So make sure you're clear on what the goal is, and make sure you're clear on what your dream looks like, what it looks like when it arrives. Sometimes you think that your dream has arrived or that you've achieved your dream, when really you've actually built a customized nightmare. So that's important. So anyway, that's it. I'm about to go. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done that yet. Also, if you want to get books like Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth, and also my new book is coming out. I'm going to have to show you guys this so you guys know if the book is out. It's called Black American Money 3, and it's going to be available on March 19th on Malcolm X's birthday. That's when I'm going to make it available. And so if you want to get books like this, you can go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. Also, just a reminder that this podcast is on iTunes. So if you want to download it on iTunes, you can certainly do that and listen to it wherever you are. And also, last but not least, if you want to get some financial workbooks or financial flashcards for your kids, you can go to financialworkbooks.com or financialflashcards.com. So these are simple custom-made URLs to let you get these things that you can work with your kids on in terms of building wealth and teaching them things. And one more thing I want to mention to you guys is on the 12th of this month, if you want to sign your kids up for our digital Black Business School for Children called the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program, we're going to have a 24-hour flash sale where it's going to be 70% off for a lifetime membership for anybody that wants to sign up, but it's only going to be for one day. It's going to be on the 12th. So just want to let you guys know so you can kind of get ready and decide if you want to do that with your kids. All right. So thank you guys for hanging out. Hit that thumbs up button before you go. And I'm out of here. And I hope that this conversation was helpful to you. And as far as Steve Harvey goes, y'all seen me be harder on him in the past, but ain't no reason to be hard on him for this. I just don't agree with what he said. And I think you can disagree without necessarily tearing the man down for this. Now, if he does some other silly shit, then we might have a different conversation. But anyway, I'm out here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Peace.